Guys, hi. Just kind of hang out here for a second or two, see if anybody's going to come on. But this powder coating and nitro-based powder's bugging me to death. I had a lot of comments on my last video about, hi, Uncle Jim. Good morning. Road killer. Kill raker. Hey, Georgia boy. This whole powder coated nitroglycerin based gunpowder debate or whatever it is it's driving me nuts, guys. I got a lot of comments on my last video about different things, and I don't know. I had a lot of guys comment, well, if it's just the base of the bullet, what's it going to hurt? Because the primary function is for the side of the bullet to lubricate as it's going down the barrel. But if you're having some kind of chemical reaction inside your casing, it could be bad, especially when it was to the witch duck. Little mallard. That's my mallard duck. Quack, quack. Hey, crazy Scotsman. And then I've got Mr. Cool Duck. But am I thinking right? If there's a chemical reaction from the plastic to the nitro-based powder, that could be bad, especially when it was as bad as disco duck. Hey, that's an idea. I could look for a disco duck. But hey, now does that stand for King James Version? I've been wanting to ask you that. But anyway, yes. Okay. So when Manny's CA showed that red dot and it had all that liquid drawn out of it and all that, don't you think that should be some concern? Because that's down in your casing, and is that taking away from the power of the powder, or is it making it more powerful? It's just concerning. And then he was talking like that tight group was even worse than red dot, that you couldn't even leave it in your hey, Walter, Aaron. Well, I don't know how to do the whole, what do you call it, hangout thing yet. This is the thing where you just press go live. But, Walter, did Ducky get clean? That's another thing I wanted to ask you, Uncle Jim. Was that a response to James Bullard saying a dirty ducky? Hey, Joe Rash. Hey, Hey, Loads of Bacon, how you doing, buddy? Long time no see. I was starting to worry about you. Partly. But I'm glad to hear that. Loads of Bacon. He was saying that tight group, you couldn't even use it in or leave it in the hopper in your measure because it would eat or etch into it. Yeah. And I'm telling you, sometimes, guys, I'm lazy. And I'll leave powder in my hopper for weeks. I think there's times that I've even left it in there for months when I wasn't really active. And I know that's not good. I shouldn't do that because sometimes you forget that what it is. I like a lot of these is, you know, you can indicate what they are just by the way it looks. Sometimes by the way it smells. Yeah. Tight group don't smell good. But anyway, so I've done a little research because, you know, they come in plastic bottles. So if it's supposed to eat plastic, why isn't it eating the plastic bottles? And if it's, and I know there's different polymers and different resins, and that's probably the reason. So I've done a little research, and these are polyurethane, and it's, oh, crud. You left it in the can too long. I leave, yeah. I noticed Thorsax does that too. He's got little labels that he puts on his hopper. You know, I wonder if that rust would even affect that powder, Uncle Jim. I guess it would. I don't know. Normally when I have powder go bad, especially in a metal container, it makes holes and turns ooey gooey. And there's James. Hey, James. You know, I noticed that here the other day. I tried to thumb up somebody and I couldn't do it during the live chat. It wouldn't give me that option. Just in the barrel. Yeah, I never thought about that. It could be corrosive in the barrel. But this is a polyurethane, and it's labeled dense polyurethane. So it is high density polyurethane. And that's the reason why it doesn't eat. Yeah, see, that was another issue I had was, could it be humidity? Could it be the temperature? What, you know, there's a lot of variables. And if it's not in a controlled environment all the time, you know, and is there some issue there? I don't know. Like I said in my last video on this, my room where I keep my powders and my bullets and my cartridges is anywhere from 69 to 72 degrees and dry year round. Where Manny had his, I don't know. And Ocean 374 brought up a point that he thinks Manny puts graphite in his powder coat. I don't know. I think my hopper has always been cloudy anyway. And light can affect the coverage of your hopper. Well, Well, see, James, that's what I was thinking. Most powders do use nitro. But to get back to the container that these come in, it's a dense polyurethane, and it has the recycle code of number 2 is what these containers are that the powders are stored in. Now, I looked up polyester. I looked up polyester, and it has a, what's it called? It's called PET, and it has the symbol of a dirt road of number 1, like this plastic drinking cup has a number 1, so it's a PET. Hey, Miss Kitty. That's a good idea to cover up your powder measure. I've never done that. But supposedly the polyester that we coat our bullets with is a PET type resin polymer. And I don't know if that's a difference or not, but I am wanting to, I had a bowl here. Oh, no. I'll use this medicine thing. It is a same material that these are made out of. Acetone. Now, is acetone a cousin to nitroglycerin? I don't know. That's chemistry I didn't study. But this is the same plastic that the powder comes in. So I'm going to put a little, I'm going to put some tight group in here and a bullet. And I picked out a little bullet I'm going to throw in there. I'm going to kind of do the same test Manny did. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up, lead bullets for life. Or lead bullets for life. If there was an issue with this, wouldn't it have come up before now? Have you noticed plastic residue in your barrel? Oh, yes. So you have seen issues. Oh, we haven't seen issues. None. Right. Apple, sunlight, and air is going to kill you. Hey, there's Fuzz T48. Okay, now Joe Rash just brought up another point I wanted to get to. We use Thorzax. We use Red Dot. Hey, Kyle. We use Red Dot in shot shells, which is made of plastic, and the wads. Doesn't seem to affect them. Yeah, I use 700X back when I first started too, and I kind of like it. I kind of feel like it's right around red dot. MCK, how you doing? What problem are you talking about, Kyle? Are you talking about the powder eating the bullets? Early coating? The red dot. Well, it's not just red dot. It's also tight group. And Manny CA actually said tight group's worse than red dot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of tight group in here in this container. Ain't going to take much. I'm going to put a powder coated bullet in there. And we're going to run about the same test Manny did, except I'm not going to put it in a polyurethane bag. Yeah, there was also some things about the bullseye. Well, Fuzzy, it apparently was not, I'm going to keep powder coating. Yeah, I'm not going to quit. I just trying to understand what's going on. Yeah, loads of bacon. That was another issue I was having. Was a lot of people's going, well, if it's just the base, don't worry about it so much. But if there's being a chemical reaction inside your cartridge, that concerns me, because it's how does it affect the performance of the powder? I'm not too worried about it eating the powder coating and getting lead. I'm more worried about the chemical reaction. Kyle's getting ready to pull some bullets. Liquid, yeah. See, in the video Manny put out, it was so bad with the red dot, that the chemical reaction that it had with the powder coat, that it was putting off some kind of liquid. I don't have anything loaded in bullseye. You want me to do this test with bullseye too? I find another container around here. I'll do that later. Yes. A and A, that's what I'm thinking. I just, yeah, bullseye's just pretty smoky anyway. Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to get to, Bacon, is to try and get more information on this because the powder coating is relevantly new. Yeah. Yeah. I had a squib not too long ago, and I was working with that 410 powder, and it didn't ignite, and yeah, it was a bad situation. I don't like that. Squibs are bad. So some of you are saying it's no concern. Some of you are worried about it. Fuzzy thinks we're drinking the Kool-Aid and jumping off a cliff. All right, Kyle. Yeah, I pulled some. What night was that? Wednesday night. I pulled some with red dot, and I didn't have any problems. Did not see any. Well, I haven't even noticed a problem, Miss Kitty, until Manny's video the other night. I seen it, and it kind of freaked me out because what he showed was these bullets were just horribly ate up by the nitroglycerin based powders. Yeah, I think he's in the chat, Uncle Jim. If you only knew. Poor Fuzzy. Yeah, I used to get on forums all the time, and then I quit doing it because there was so many different opinions about this and that. And I thought I'm just going to come to my own conclusion about everything. Hey, Thomas, how you doing? Right. No, I understand that, Thorsax, but if there is something going on there and it needs more testing, it needs to be more tested. Uh, if Manny's having a problem, and apparently he's not the only one because according to his video, he is doing this because he read it on a forum and wanting to find out on his own by doing some testing to see if what's going on. So that's kind of basically what I'm doing. I'm wanting to do some more testing and see what I'm coming up with, and to see if there is going to be a problem, there's not going to be a problem. But like I said, with him getting the liquid drawn off the powder, that kind of concerns me. I can't see where that would be good. But now, if you guys remember, didn't he also have a video one time where somebody gave him some ammunition, and it was traditionally, yeah, Steve needs to be brung into this and see what he thinks about it. I'm just surprised there's 20 people watching. But now, hey, that's an idea. That's a good idea. Testing some outside and testing some inside. See if it is weather related. See, that was another thing I was Joe, that I was worried about was did he leave it to where it could be oxidized? If he left it to where it could be oxidized, that could be a whole different issue than a sealed cartridge. Yeah, I understand it's not conclusive. Like I've said before, I don't know his curing system or how he cured that powder coat on that bullet to get to the point where it was. See, that's a variable. Uncle Jim says the pulled bullets are the only proof. But now, I don't remember who made the comment right offhand about they pulled some bullets in their base, but they were using bullseye and it ate the base. I don't know. I try not to use gas checks if I can help it, especially in a pistol. It doesn't really help if you get a right load. I see. This is what I like. I like this interaction. People tell me how they think, and you know, yeah, it could be that. Like I said, I don't know how he controlled, how he cured his powder coat. That zinc thing's eating you up, ain't it, Fuzzy? Well, okay. Now that brings up another subject. Now, I was telling you the containers that the gunpowder come in is polyurethane. There's also powder coats out there that are polyurethane. He was using Harbor Freight and some other brand, and I don't think he said what the other brand was. But the red was Harbor Freight and the orange was something different. But apparently it's just, yeah. So some of his he used graphite and some he didn't. Right. They were just components and wasn't loaded ammunition. Yeah, zinc's bad stuff. Sherwin-Williams. Oh, I hate to hear that because I use a lot of Sherwin-Williams. Yeah, but doesn't powder have a graphite base too? Am I speaking out of line there? I'm glad to hear that, James. But see, that's what I'm saying. The bullets I pulled Wednesday, some were 2 years old, some of them were a year old, and had head Russian collusion, and had no problem. The bases were not had no reaction. They were good. Q did it. Not PC though. No, I was talking about the gunpowder. Does gunpowder have graphite in it? Fuzzy wants everybody to know that he's been casting since 77. Yeah. Well, now see, I carry one. That's what we're talking about. It shouldn't affect the plastic, but apparently some people are having trouble with it affecting the powder coat, which is a cured plastic if it's done right. So I don't. But here's another thing: some people are having issues with it, and some people are not. You think graphite weakens the PC? I've seen a lot of guys use graphite in their PC. I really don't know why, because I think it's slick enough the way it is. But that's like people using Molly in their lube too. But I think Molly's more of a bore filler than a scratch filler in your bore. Now, Buzzy just brought up something that reminds me. One day I was down at the range when I first started casting bullets. I was making my own lube, and I was using scented candles. Sometimes I would use Crisco, and I was using petroleum jelly. And I told this guy we were shooting, and he's like, I can smell you're shooting cast bullets. I can smell it. And I said, yeah, I am. And he asked me about that, and he said, you're using a petroleum-based product in for lube? And I said, yeah. And he goes, well, that's not good. So, and if you think about it, plastic is a petroleum-based product too. But I've never had an issue. Never had powder go bad or had an issue using that. Has anybody else made their own lube and used petroleum jelly? There's not a thing wrong with bacon grease, other than I'm down to one jar in the refrigerator still too. Yeah, Crisco's a good lube. So, lead bullets for life, you do use petroleum jelly in your homemade lube? Yeah, and salt is a bad. Salt is corrosive. Oh, Miss Kitty, Miss Kitty. Anybody? I don't think I've shown Air Force Ducky yet, have I? Yeah, I've never had wash the duck. Which one? Did I say wash? Wash the duck. It's a duck's life. Thanks, Miss Kitty. Idaho Rogers had a problem with my gunnery sergeant duck. He didn't think it was dress blues. Wash them all. Duck and roll. Duck and roll. It just keeps going. All right, then. So I feel like we haven't accomplished anything. Except, well, I guess we're talking about it. So it's basically just like anything else. You have different opinions about what could be causing this or what's going on. Yes, we're having fun. So let me throw this out there. That's right. That is what this is all about. Yeah, I got the Army duck and I sent it to Willie, and it had the black beret. And of course, Johnny's late. And he's getting ready to pull some bullets that he loaded with unique. Just don't mix it with graphite. It's a duck's life. You know, I haven't even seen a Navy duck. I've got a couple of pirate ducks. Uh-oh. You know Johnny can't read that. Oh, yeah, Johnny also said something about it's almost archery season, and you need to practice, and it won't be long, and then it'll be firearm season, so you need to practice. I think Johnny's all about the practice. Now, that's what I took out of his emoji code. Yeah. Okay. There you go. KJ, can't even talk. But anyway, yes, that's it. That was another thing I was going to bring up. I'm glad you brought that up. If these companies that are using powder coat on their bullets or whatever polymer covering they're using, like Acme, Blue Bullets, if they thought there was an issue, don't you think that they wouldn't? I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't, because we're not. But I wonder how an Acme bullet would act with putting it in red dot or tight group. Oh, Uncle Jim, I made some scoops. Yeah, that's not very appealing, is it? Why are we talking about free the bear? Oh no, don't say free anything in front of Uncle Jim. Yeah, Federal's got something. Well, back when I was loading 32 H&R mags back in the early 90s, my powder thrower would not throw a light enough charge in whatever powder I was using. And I had to make a little dipper out of a 22 long rifle to get the right amount of powder. What was that about Harbor Freight Red? It's similar to Harbor Freight Red. Thanks, Cletus. Lead bullets for life. What's similar to? Oh, yeah, okay. You're talking about the Federal bullets. Yeah. Well, now, if I'm thinking right, Elvis Ammo dissected one of those, cut it in layers or something, and it was actually thicker than what we powder coat. Don't put that in there. That's right, Uncle Dave. Don't put that in there. Right. Yeah, I make sure what the charge is because it changes. All right. Johnny just pulled 3 different ones. It's been loaded for at least 2 years with unique and one with a mystery powder. The powder coat on the base is perfect on all of them. Now, see, that's what I came up with Wednesday night when I pulled my bullets. Some of them was loaded for, hey, Willie, some of mine was loaded for 2 years and some of them was loaded for a year, and I didn't see an issue at all. And that was with red dot, and I guess it was all with red dot. Yeah, that's the way I look at it too, Thorsax. I just really like powder coating. I like it so much anymore. I don't like doing traditional. Georgia Boy said he pulled some with 2400 and had no issues. Maybe that might be the problem. Maybe they're taking something out of the powder coating when they have to ship it to California, and that's why he's having problems in California. That was another thing that I was bringing up earlier. I don't know what his conditions were when he was curing his powder coat. If he cured it all the way or not. I do every now and then traditional, but I really have got away from it, and I really like the powder coat. Yes. Powder coat causes cancer in California. Everything causes cancer in California. Poor Willie. Willie said he pulled 4 different bullets with powder from different. And he doesn't think he doesn't have a problem with it. Yeah, I haven't priced a size and die in years for the traditional, but I pretty much set up on all that. Yeah, we definitely have a mixed bunch. Thomas say. Solve a lot of problems. Oh, it's right. I forgot. Lead bullet for life's in California too. Yeah. Well, it's not so much that the powder coat comes off in the case; it's the chemical reaction that it's having with the gunpowder. James said he pulled a 45 loaded with bullseye a year ago, and it's a year old and it's fine. Yeah, I'm not having an issue with it, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, Johnny. Yeah, too many people have tried that low temperature, and you got to cure the powder like it says on the instructions, or it ain't cured. I have already PC'd them. Alter right there is what they look like. Gas checked them. Hopefully tomorrow I'll get some of them loaded up. They look tasty. It's what they call it, light violet from Eastwood. Now, and I'll tell you the reason why I powder coated them instead of oh, Coconut oil. Wow, never thought about using coconut oil. I bet those smell pretty good when they go off. And now, here's one I traditionally, I cannot talk tonight. Anyway, I lubricized this one. And the grease band shrunk up on me or something. I don't know. So I didn't think I was getting enough lube in it. So I decided to go ahead and powder coat them. Yeah, I hope they shoot fine. I'm going to test some around 19, and then I'm going to try and test some at 22, 2,400 feet per second. Linotype. No, it's a special alloy. It's 96 and 4, Dave. That's been water quenched. Yeah, there it is. 96 and 4. I like this interaction, Willie. It's, you know, when you make a video and then people comment, you don't have a chance to, why do you feel that way? Or, no, Fuzzy's using the seal for the toilet for bullet lube. It's made out of Alox, so it's basically the same thing as bullet lube. What was I talking about? Oh, the interaction. Yeah, live streaming's so much better because you can talk back and forth. And cheaper. Yeah. Yeah, it's ridiculous how some of these component places, gun components and reloading component places, jack up prices of their stuff. A water quench in the toilet. Now, Thorax, or when you say you don't water quench and you just let it air cure, are you looking for a high speed bullet or mid range? What's your velocity on that alloy? I think the problem with Uncle Jim was all that thin air being up on that mountain. I don't know. I could be wrong. He might have been that way in Washington. Was you up in the high elevations in Washington too, Uncle Jim? Brisket. Okay, so you just make your alloy harder, not worry about. Uh, you make the alloy harder, not worry about the water quench. That way, there's no question about if the water quench took or not. I can see that. Excessive head space. Now that was funny. So range scrap, like you just get. Does anybody think that's hard enough just to shoot, or do you have to add something to it? What about shot? If you were to melt down shot, would that be hard enough to make bullets out of? Kind of soft. Now, isn't it like 4% antimony? Shot is harder. Yes. Right. So the shot is harder than the range scrap because a lot of range scrap has just pure lead in it. Okay, loads of bacon. How did those 44s shoot? Were they accurate? Or was there some problems with your accuracy? Well, what I'm saying is there's a trend anymore of people actually going to a softer bullet instead of a harder bullet because they're actually getting more accuracy out of the softer bullets. Yeah, I'm tight. So I carry one, likes hard bullets. But you're also shooting 10 millimeter mags at 1,200 feet per second. Walmart parking lot churches on Sunday. That fuzzy's still getting his wheel weights from the Walmart parking lot. Yeah, I like wheel weights. They seem to be the about the right alloy. Do hardware stores still sell solder with lead in it? Yeah, I've noticed that if you if you water quench and then powder coat, it tends to have an adverse effect on it. So it's always better, I feel, to powder coat and then water quench. Right. I understand solder's for the tin, but is it mostly lead-free solder that they sell anymore, or do they still sell lead? All right here, no. I think all lead-free solder is pretty much 100% tin. Now, I don't know if you guys heard this story or not, but my stepdad used to work for a contractor that remodeled, and they actually redone Johnny Morris's bathroom, and he had a sheet of lead behind his shower, and I ended up with that sheet of lead from Johnny Morris's shower. Electric solder still 60-40. You know, lead pipe still, there's still a good source. Lead pipe's getting hard to find though. $0.80 a pound. The indoor range that I go to every now and then. Oh, Paul J. Willie, you have a good night, and don't let your people get you down, buddy. Hang in there. shower bullets. Exactly. Walter, that's what I was talking about. After you powder coat, I think it has an adverse effect on the BHN. Yes, quench after powder coating. I believe that. I believe that wholeheartedly. If you want your bullets hard, you need to powder coat and then quench it. Because if you don't, it takes it out of it. Speaking of werewolves and silver bullets, on the news the other night on our local news, somebody had a chupacabra in their chickens. Something's been getting in their chickens, so they set up a camera, and sure enough, it was a chupacabra. But I don't think the chupacabra was after the chickens because he ran them out of the barn. He was after something else in the barn. I don't know what. Nobody's got a comment on the chupacabra. Yes, George boy, I actually shared that on Facebook, hoping that they would get some views, and I don't think anybody got what that was all about. Yeah, that's exactly what I think, Torsax. I think if you add 10 to range scrap or wheel weights, you're just wasting your 10 for bullet pistol bullets. Good night, Walter. Yeah, I'm getting ready to shut her down myself. I'm getting kind of tired. I'm running out of things to say. Yeah, yeah, that's what it was. It wasn't healthy enough for him. Uh, now, what is it? Technical Advantage TV in Canada, TATV. He's been doing the BHN testing. He's just got past a year, and that was an interesting test. Joe Rash, go check him out and look into that testing. That was really good stuff. Yeah, chupacabra actually in Spanish means goat sucker. It just literally means goat sucker. Kyle, did you go somewhere and come back? Is that what you're saying, morning, or you want to run this till morning? Oh Lord, I'm missing a lot of chat here. Yes, TATV Canada. There's Reloader 762. Okay. Right. There's not going to be a change, but if you want your hardness, you want to quench. But you're right. There's no change. If you air cool and then powder coat and let them air cool, you're starting at the same point. Oop. Right. Exactly. What Reloader 762 just said. Right. All right, guys. I think I've had enough. I love chatting with you guys. I just really love this interaction. I want to thank you all for coming. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.